And radical expressions can be added or subtracted as long as they are like radicals. And we're going to talk for a minute what like radicals means. And by the way, that's one of your, I think that's one of your vocabulary words. Okay, so this means, this is what like radicals means, okay? That the index is, that they have the same index and the same radicand. So just to review, by the way, Brianna, you got this roll on here. Just to review, all right? Okay, my index is this little number that sits on this shelf right here. Okay, this is my index, and that's not to be, we might have a number out here. This is a coefficient right here. This is my index right here, all right? This is my coefficient. This is my radicand. Okay, so those of you that still have part one, that was on there, but just to get the terminology correct. This is a coefficient, but this little number that sits on the shelf here, that's your index. And then this thing that looks like a division sign with a check mark is your radical. So just to get the terminology straight. So index, so what needs to match when I'm adding and subtracting, my index needs to match and what's underneath needs to match. Okay, so you fill in those words on your graphical organizer. And if you don't have it, I would make sure that that terminology is on your paper as well. So we caught up here? We good? We're just going to practice like radicals here next. Alright. So square root expressions with the same radicand are examples of like radicals. So here are some like radicals. We have 2 radical 5 and 4 radical 5. Remember those that when they don't have an index up there, it's 2. So my index is 2 and my radicand is 5. Here I've got 6, negative 2, but they have the same radicand, which is underneath, and the same index. These are like radicals. Here's some unlike radicals, 2 and square root 15. I can't add those together. All right, 6 and 6x underneath here, these are not like radicands. Here, 3 radical 2 and 2 radical 3, the 2 and the 3 don't match underneath my radical. All right. So, determine whether these are like. I'm looking at number 1. Okay? Do they match? No. What's different?
X and Y.
X and Y. Good. So these are not like radicals. Okay? How about number 2?
No. No. Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, how many no?
Yes.
How many yes? Okay, so you go to twice. Okay, so I'm looking just at my radical here. Are my indexes the same? Are my indexes the same?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, because remember, if that index is that little number that sits up there. This 3 is a coefficient. All right, so the index is the little number that sits on the shelf, sits on that shelf. Okay, so that, because I'm having here, there's 2, and then my radicand is a 2. All right, looking at number 3, look carefully.
No.
No, okay. How about number 4?
Yes.
No.
How many yes? How many no? Okay, so again, this X and this 2 are not sitting on the shelf there. Okay, so I've got the index is actually a 2, and my radicand is 2xy. So that's going to be like radicals. All right. So we can add and subtract as long as they are like radicals. Are we okay with like radicals? All right. And all we do is kind of like adding something with a variable. We're only going to add the coefficients. What stays under the radicand, or the radicand does not get added. So in this case, I'm adding 2 radical 5, and I'll do it on the board. 2 radical 5 plus 4 radical 5. All right, so first I'm going to look. My indexes, there's nothing there, so they're the same, right? And then my 5s match. So all I'm going to do is add 2 plus 4 times radical 5. So 2 plus 4 is 6 radical 5. So it's the same rules as we're going to treat these radicals when we add and subtract. It's different from multiplying now. But when we add and subtract, all we're going to do is add the coefficients or subtract the coefficients. This remains 5. It doesn't become 10. All right, so I've got 6 radical x minus 2 radical x. Okay, so do my indexes match?
Yep.
Yes. And do my radicands match? Yes. So I've got 6 minus 2 is 4 radical x. Okay, anything hard about this? I think sometimes adding is a little bit easier. Okay. All right. Can I add these?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, because my index is 5, and my radicand is 13. So yes, they match. So what am I going to add? 2 plus 5, which becomes 7. Okay, looking at this one, do my indexes match? Do my radicands match? Yes. All right, so I've got -4, the 5th root of x, minus 6, the 5th root of x. All right, so I'm just going to combine these. So I'm going to bring in here -4 minus 6, the 5th root of x. Okay, we get that. All right, so I've got -4. Remember that when we subtract integers, keep, change, flip. All right, so it's going to be -4. I'm going to keep that. Okay, I'm going to change this to a plus, and then I'm going to flip this to a -6. So keep the sign, change your operand from minus to plus, flip this to a -6. Keep change flip. Alright, so I've got -4 plus -6 is -10. The fifth root of radical x. And you okay with that? Okay, so just go over review on dealing with integers. It may have been a while. That should be the sorry. Alright. Change it to 4. Okay, I'm looking at this carefully now. Looking at this carefully. Do my indexes match? No. Alright. No? Raise your hand. Yes. Okay, good. So notice that this big 3 is a coefficient. It's not an index. This has an index of what? 2. And the 2 and the 3 don't match. So they don't match, so this is, some of this stuff is on your graphical organizer, I'm sorry. Okay, so this one is number 3 on your graphical organizer. So you may want to just fill that out. Not possible the index is not the same. So this is number 1 on your graphic organizer, number 2 on your graphic organizer, and number 3 on your graphic organizer. So that's where you're going to write that. So this 1, 2, 3 up there. So 1, 2, 3, 6 up there. Okay. These right here. Same as what's up there. Alright, so if my indexes and my radicands match, it's a fairly easy job. All it is adding those coefficients. Sometimes they don't match, but sometimes we can make them match. If there's a big number underneath that radicand, sometimes we can simplify it and make our radicands match. So that's where we're going next. Unless you guys get caught up. Caught up? Alright. So combining radicals is similar to combining like terms. Alright. So I'm going to have you try these two really quick. Do my indexes match? Yes. So A is going to be what? Y radical 3, okay. How about B? Okay, so B is not possible, right? Because these guys, X and Y, don't match. Now here, let's look at C, because I don't want to look at that. Just do that here. Okay, so I have radical M minus 7 radical M. All right, so do my indexes match, for starters?
Yes.
Yes, so the little number on the shelf is 2. Okay, now, do my radicands match?
Yes.
Yes, okay. coefficient here is
1.
1, right? So that's that invisible 1. So if you're just seeing a radical by itself, remember that coefficient is that invisible 1 that comes and goes at will. All right, so I've got 1 minus 7 times radical m. So 1, remember this is keep, change, flip. So 1 plus a negative 7 is negative 6 radical m. You okay with that? Some fun danger there. All right, here, what can I combine there? So 2 and the 9, right? This 2 right here, 2xy here and the 9xy. So 2 and 9 makes 11. So this would be 11xy plus 2y. Y plus 2 radical 1. That's all you can do. Okay, so sometimes you'll look and you'll see that the radicands, if the indexes don't match, that's an automatic, I can't add it, okay? But sometimes the radicands are the same, but if it's a big number, sometimes you can make them the same. So this is what this is about. So I've got 7 radical 5, and this is on your graphic organizer. You have to flip the page. So I've got 7 radical 5 minus 2 radical 2. Okay, so do my indexes, these little numbers up here, match? Yes, because they're 2's. All right, now do my radicands match? No. Okay, but 20 is a number that I know will go into 2. So let's see if we can break down 20. That's 2 and 10. 2 and 5, 5's prime. So I've got a group of 2 here. So I'm going to rewrite this as 7 radical 5 minus, I've got this group of 2 radical 5. Now, do my radicands match? Yeah, I just made them match. Okay, so if you can break it down. I'm sorry, go ahead.
You got the 5 from that 5.
Yeah, I got the 5 from here. This 5 right here. Because it's not in the 2. So I've got 7 radical 5 minus 2 radical 5. So now I can subtract my coefficients and I'm left with 5 radical 5. Okay, so that's number 1 on your graphic organizer. I messed up. This is not quite right. Sorry. Erase.
I know that.
You knew that when you pointed out? Okay, so I had 7 radical 5. I already had a 2 radical 5, so I'm multiplying this by 2. So I've got 7 radical 5 minus 4 radical 5. You guys see what I did? I messed up. Okay, so let's go back. All right, I had 7 radical 5 minus 2 radical 20. All right, so I broke down my 20, and I'm just going to put my 7 radical 5 out here. I already had a 2, so I need to bring that down. I didn't do that. Bring this 2 down there. Okay, and then I had another 2 that came out, so that's times 2 radical 5.
Okay, so the next one will be 7 radical 3x.
Okay, so 7 radical 5 minus, we're not there yet. Okay, sorry, I bet you're going too slow. 7 radical 5 minus 4 radical 5, which makes this 3 radical 5. All right, so sometimes we forget about those there like I just did, so let's try not to do what I just did. because there was already a 2 out there and I ignored it. All right. Are we good now? Did I straighten you guys out? All right. All right, so this next one, is that what you were asking me about, Victor?
Yeah, I was giving you everything right.
You're gonna give me the answer? Okay. Who we do it?
Well, we do it or
And I'll do it. How about it? Let's see, we got 5, yeah, okay. 5 radical 3x plus radical 12x. Okay, that's good. So she's, the 3 and the 12 don't match, so she's going to break down that 12.
Then I did it in my head. I did 2 times 1.
Okay. All right, good.
So 2, then 3.
Very good.
Then I did 7.
Okay, good. Very good. Good. Very nice. Any questions about that? Just go with the right answer. Good. So you mess up like me. All right. So this is another one. Okay, yeah, you've already done it. Okay, so you've already done this, and that's good. Hopefully you didn't make that same mistake I made to begin with. Just hope I don't make it again. So I've got 2 radical 20 plus radical 5. All right, so my indexes, they match, right? Because I got nothing up there on the shelf, which means there's a 2 there. So, but 20 and 5 don't match. So I'm going to do this 4 times 5, 2 times 2. Yeah, I'm going to try to learn from my past mistake and bring my 20 out already. Then I've got another 2 that I'm going to multiply this by. Okay, and then I'm left with this 5 underneath, so I'm going to move that there. So I've got 2 times 2 radical 5 plus, what's my coefficient here? 1. Plus 1 radical 5. So 2 times 2 is 4 radical 5 plus 1 radical 5. 4 plus 1 is 5 radical 5. Let's see if I match. Okay, any questions about that one? No. Okay. Okay, here is one, this next one. Everybody got that written down? This next one, okay, now, do my indexes match? Yes, okay. So I could probably make my radicals, but I may have to simplify both of them. So in some of them, you may have to simplify both. So see if you can do that. I know there's, you can put that kind of at the bottom of your graphic organizer there. there, let's see. Yeah, because we're not gonna be multiplying, so just put it there at the bottom, and see if you can do that. So you're gonna simplify the 45, and you're gonna simplify the 20. And just a hint, any time that I simplify anything that ends in 5 and 0, I can always divide it by 5. Right now we're at workshops.
I know, I know.
Is this more important than anything I have to say? Oh, no.
Because I know why you're trying to be politician. Okay. Cause you got one tomorrow in Slocum?
Yep.
I'll be there. I'll come to the second one.
Yeah, great. Anybody want to put theirs on the board? Any volunteers?
That's it.
I see.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so 3 minus 2 is 1 radical 5. Very good. Perfect. All right. We just did that. Same thing. That's the same thing. All right, let's try this one before we stop. If you can do this one. Is everybody good with this so far? Are we coming up with the correct answers? Okay. All right, so I'm gonna try that up there. You're gonna show what you got. Right, sure. Very good. She didn't make the mistake I made.
Not possible with the reference.
Okay, so the radicals don't match, so we cannot add those. Very good. All right, how are we feeling about adding and subtracting radicals? So far, are we good? All right, you think that we can do this? Okay, good. Let's see if we can do it and pass on some standards. All right,